We are talking Solo, a Star Wars movie. The most divisive Star Wars film in the canon. Possibly. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. If you were listening to Talk Radio, you just heard Elizabeth Tripp, Nourish the Soul. Thank you for joining us if you stuck around. We talk comics, movies, TV, and pop culture. I am your host, Michael Dolce. As always, I got my co-host, the Lord of the Radio, and we're hoping our audio issues on the live Facebook stream are fixed.
Yeah, don't yell at us.
Yeah, don't yell at us. Well, you could yell.
Stop yelling. Yeah, we won't hear you because we got audio issues.
Well, we're trying here. And
yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're getting it done.
So we want to welcome you. So we're really zeroing in. We're really focusing on Solo. It's our Solo topic tonight. But
yes.
We've got some other stuff as well to talk to. Some casting news, both in movies and TV. A certain Walking Dead character who will no longer be around.
Because he's a gojillionaire, and he's
no, he's creative, and he wants to.
Yeah, he's also a gojillionaire by now.
He's trying to do some different things.
8 seasons, 9 seasons, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
At top dollar.
Yeah.
He's a gojillionaire.
But we'll get into it. We'll get into that. All right, but we start with our main topic, which is the Solo movie, which we'll give you our full. I mean, this is a spoiler-filled review session. So, Sam hasn't seen it yet.
Go see film,
That's
Sam.
the first thing we got to talk about, right? There's
Yeah.
not much to spoil about this movie except for the end,
Except for that ending.
which we will talk about
With
a little
Darth
bit.
Vader. And he gives birth to I'm sorry. I didn't mean to give it away.
No. But there is. I mean, with the exception of the cameo at the end of the film, there's not much to spoil here, right? There's no stakes to the movie because we know Lando and we know Han Solo are going to make it out. In fact, again, spoiler filled. Please, if you're gonna, this is not the time. if you're gonna spoil, we know who makes it out and who doesn't because it's a prequel, right? So there's no surprise to that. The fun of this movie is seeing how it all
ties together.
Kind of comes together.
Well, that's the same would happen with the entire prequels, and the Titanic, and a number of movies where they go back to just kind of set things up for you.
Sure.
And except the only time it kind of worked.
Is Titanic technically a prequel movie?
Well, we know the end result.
Yeah.
We are aware of the end result. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
So it's kind of the same dynamic because we know exactly. It's like,
Sure.
the boat sinks. So, okay, so they're going to have a good time and then the boat's going to sink. So, theoretically, it's like, Han's going to do this, and then he's going to meet Luke and Leia, and then he's going to, be a hero,
Right.
So, or Orlando's going to go get Cloud City. He's going to have a big, Cloud City.
Sure.
And then he's going to meet Han, and he's going to lose it all, and then he's going to end up being a hero, blah, blah, blah. So the same thing is the same dynamic with the Titanic.
Sure.
The only time that dynamic actually worked was Rogue One because they used so many characters you didn't know. You still didn't know what was going to happen to them.
Right.
So you knew they were going to get the plans to the Death Star because we knew the Death Star was going to blow up. But we don't know what's going to happen to these guys. These guys could sink back into the scenery and be on other missions, or they could all get nuked. Which, spoiler, they did. So, here's the other thing before we even start into this. There is a possible market for the aspect that these movies are. I think my personal feeling is that the Disney anthology movies, the one-offs,
Sure,
are more genuine Star Wars than their episodes. Than their episodes 7 and 8, because they managed to really capture the zeitgeist of Star Wars.
Yeah,
they managed to capture the scenery and the feel, the look and feel.
Sure.
And the new ones don't, because the new ones just don't know. There's no mythology behind it. There's no vision behind it, right? So the first ones, the original the original trilogy, George Lucas I want to have a used universe. I want everything to look run down. I want everything to look destroyed. Mm-hmm. I want it to be stuff that we don't have in our world.
Right.
But it's all worn out and used, so we could sell the poverty the rule of the Empire is, has cashed the entire galaxy into, it's impoverished everyone.
Sure.
Lucas is farm boy on this rundown farm. It's futuristic. It's all these things we don't have, but it looks like a piece of crap.
Right.
His car looks like a piece of crap.
Right.
Even though we never knew what a hover car looked like
Sure.
at the time. So that was a vision. That's one of the visions for the originals, but that was a vision for the prequels. Obviously, the vision was reversed. Everything needs to look new and
Right.
pristine because everything hasn't fallen into turmoil. The new movies don't know what they want to do because some things look kind of pristine and nice, and then some things look beat up.
Sure.
Going backwards.
Well, all right. Let me.
You don't even have a look for it. So now the anthology movies, they know they could tap into that original trilogy look. So at least aesthetically, it has the feel of the original Star Wars movies. So even if we, without going any further into them, we have the look and the feel correct. And then all you need is like a bunch of Nazis, in space Nazis, and a bunch of stormtroopers.
Sure.
And you've pretty much got the overwhelming, the I don't know, the pending doom, or the preeminent danger of what that galaxy has. And then you got these heroes, these plucky heroes.
Yeah.
All you need is some guy who's going to thumb his nose at authority, and you pretty much got the dynamic.
Here's you said a whole bunch in there.
Yep. Sorry.
So dissecting that is going to take the rest of the show.
Yes. That was my plan. I'm actually going to take a nap.
And I'm gonna point out something you said, but I'm gonna leave it alone for right now because it does argue.
I'll forget it, and then I won't.
No. It's not that. It was an excellent point, but it kind of speaks to what we've been talking about with the Disney Star Wars in general.
Okay.
And instead, I want to start off with disturbance in the Force. Star Wars: A Solo Story fails to meet box office expectations.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing everyone's talking about,
Yeah.
right? And then there was a second thing that everyone's talking about, and we'll get into details in a second here. Literally. Yeah. Everyone keeps the big complaint of the movie. Was this film necessary? And I kind of hate that thought.
I despise that thought.
Because nothing is necessary.
No movies have ever been necessary ever.
I do get, is there a sense of urgency to know this story?
Right.
Did we need to focus on this story? But my argument to that would be that he's one of the most iconic characters in the universe, for sure. He's familiar to people. And a backstory, while not quote-unquote necessary, it still was fun, right? Did you have fun watching the movie?
Yeah, I did. And I didn't think I would have as much fun. And I've seen it twice already.
Oh, look at you go.
So I had to, because
you co-host a weekly podcast.
Well, partially, but also because I've been known throughout most of my friendships as the Star Wars guy.
You need to know.
Almost every one of my friends wants to see the next Star Wars movie with me.
Sure.
And so
two friends?
Huh?
You got two friends.
Yeah.
You only saw it twice.
Yeah, one time I saw it alone, so I actually only have one friend. I only have one friend.
Yeah. They're very vocal, though.
I don't know why we had to bring that part.
What did you think? What did you think of Alden?
I don't really want to talk now.
In the lead role as Han Solo.
I was surprised. Okay, it wasn't Harrison Ford.
Of course
he wasn't Harrison Ford. I didn't think he was Harrison Ford. There are other Harrison Ford, young potential Harrison Forders out there who would have almost immediately been like, "Oh man, that's Harrison Ford."
Sure,
but they didn't choose those guys. That said, he was a great actor.
Yeah,
he did great in the role. He was sympathetic.
I thought he was
him.
really
I was
charismatic.
Yeah, I was rooting for him.
Throughout the entire film, he was extremely charismatic.
Yeah, I mean, a little more.
He was his own character. Everyone keeps saying that. I don't, the funny thing is...
He did as good a job with Solo as Chris Pine does with Kirk.
Yes.
Because he's not Kirk.
Right.
He's not Shatner.
But
he's totally not Shatner.
He's essentially like a rebooted version of Solo. Right?
Yes.
But not talking about continuity-wise, but just in terms of
right. And when you look at Chris Pine, you're like, well, okay, that could be Kirk. You could
right.
get it. You get it. You're like,
right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
I mean, Zachary Quinto was easy because he looked like Spock.
Yeah,
all you had to do was slap some ears on him. I don't think
is the look more important than
well,
the,
no,
than the
I don't, because I
character?
don't really think he captured Leonard Nimoy perfect. Leonard Nimoy had a lot of gravity, even back in 1960,
Sure.
69. So, I don't mean even back then. I mean even for how little emphasis and prestige was given to television shows back then. He had movie star gravity
Right.
back in that. So I mean, Leonard Nimoy is going to be hard to do, which is really lucky for Zachary Quinto that he had an aesthetic that you could copy the aesthetic. I mean, the person who nailed the role perfectly was Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Because he was absolutely Dr. McCoy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know it's slightly off track, but you could look at them and you go, "That's not them."
Yeah.
But that's them.
Right. Exactly.
Okay,
the
so
essence of who they were is there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I can close my eyes and imagine that this was all the crap that Han Solo did just before he met
Sure.
Luke and Leia. Okay,
Yeah. Go ahead.
it was fine to me. It wasn't jarring at all. You know.
Well, let's talk about that, right? And I guess it's kind of like it pairs up with the "is it necessary" kind of thing. My big complaints of the movie, like if I was to give it a letter grade, right? If I was to give it a letter grade, I would say, was there? I feel like they skimmed a lot. Like it was kind of like they
Cliff
just
Notes version of his past.
yeah, and they were kind of like, well, we got to include this, and we got to include this, and we got to include this.
And I agree with you 100%. However, the other side of it
Yeah.
is that if they didn't put those things in there, and they said, let's just go the opposite, because everyone's going to expect them to get the Millennium Falcon, and if they didn't have the Millennium Falcon
Well,
in
no,
there,
you need that.
but that's what I'm saying.
I know.
So you need that. You need the Millennium Falcon.
I know.
If you're going to have the Millennium Falcon, you need to have Lando. If you're
Yeah.
going to have Lando and and Han in the Millennium Falcon, you need to have Chewie.
Yeah.
If you're going to have Han, Chewie,
I know.
and Lando, then you need to do the Kessel Run.
Yeah, I know.
So there's
I know.
no way they could have not done that.
I know.
There's
I
no
know.
way it couldn't have been done.
You know what? Right, without it being like a 3-hour movie.
Exactly, like a Lord of the Rings type movie. I mean, they could have done a Solo trilogy.
They are.
And then had him. They might.
Well, now they might.
Yeah. And had him get the Millennium Falcon in the next movie, or something, and meet Lando in the next movie. But
well,
I mean,
you need that in this movie.
That's what I'm saying.
I
So-
know.
so-
But you know what though? There is execution versus things. So if you need these three things, maybe this isn't where you necessarily show where Han came from and go through that. Now that being said, they didn't do a poor job of it.
No.
It just felt like to me.
It's paint by numbers. Kind of thing.
It really was. It really was. There was a certain. I mean, you even have Maeve and from Westworld who's in there, and that
Danny Newton.
funky looking alien dude that was the pilot, the original
which is
pilot.
Jon Favreau.
It was John. Oh, that's John
Yeah.
Favreau. I knew some of his voice. Yeah, really cool. You could have given them a little more space in the movie. You could have stopped. The movie really spanned a lot of times. You talked about some key characters.
Mm-hmm.
People want to talk about some breakout performances. I'll give you my breakout performance, and it's not exactly who you think when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network. Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday at 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential, Live Life Your Way, on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan.
And Priya
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern.
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo! What's that?
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
looking at you, and I couldn't tell you if you're 24 or 38. How old are you?
38.
How old is she, Sam?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, I keep in good shape. How old do you think Hassan is?
71. I'm at the age where the only time I won it twice is before I had it once.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. I want to remind folks we've got a Sire Kickstarter going on right now. It's on live on Kickstarter Volume 2 trade paperback, collects issues 7 through 10. Learn about who the Sire is and find out all cool things. It collects issues 7 through 10, plus like a whole bunch of new material. Go to mikebooks.com/Kickstarter. And the mainstream number 2 is in stores now, today. Go check it out. Issue 1 was sold out. Get your hands on issue 2. Do some back orders and all that fun stuff.
Do what we tell you.
It's really, really cool stuff.
Do as you are commanded.
Interdimensional Police Force, Police's Alternate Realities. Go to mikebooks.com to find out more.
I might read that.
All right, we are talking Solo. I'm your host, Michael Dolce. This is Hassan Godwin.
Yeah.
Apparently our audio is fixed. Our video may or may not be.
Yeah. There's
but,
always something. There's
you know,
always something. And then everybody who listens to us on the podcast, like, what are you guys talking about? Like, every week there's a problem. And it never sounds like there's a problem.
If
I'm gonna stop
you
listening.
are looking for us on the podcast or you're listening to us on the podcast, go to itunes.com.
Segue.
Yeah, all that fun stuff. Go to iTunes and check us out on iTunes. All that fun stuff. Just look up Secrets of the Sire. The Patreon page is getting a revamp or reboot on Monday.
Nice.
I'm actually just taking it over, and it's going to be my personal ground for writing tips and writing and art, and you're going to get a sneak peek and all this other fun stuff. So check that
be
out.
patriotic. And,
Yes.
And check out the Patreon.
Yes, exactly, because, that's what I want.
Because we told you to.
Well, I try. And Craig Caruso says we're streaming live and in color.
Wow. So that's a thumbs up.
Craig's racist.
Yes.
See what I did there?
I'm going to call ABC.
So
Get
we
him taken care
we
of.
were talking Solo.
That's enough
This
of
is
that.
a spoiler-filled. Not even going there. Is this our?
Come on.
Is this our comic?
Come on,
Comicscape?
let's talk about it. No, it's not.
Don't tweet.
Let's not.
We'll get into our Colin Kaepernick Roseanne debate that we were having at dinner
Do
time.
not tweet. That's the bottom line. Everybody needs to learn. Stop using Twitter.
Well, stop using Twitter to do anything aside promote your.
This
stuff.
is why people always ask me, and well, you never use your Facebook for anything. I quote movies and I quote songs.
Yeah.
Because if you got a problem with that, you could take it up with the movie, and you can take it up with the singer.
It's a good way to do
well,
it.
that's it. It's not my problem. That's
Good
how
way to
you
do it.
deflect. But I keep my site active because I'm always doing updates and posts. That's how
Sure.
it's done. Nobody wants to know what the heck I'm thinking anyway.
So we were talking
Least of all
about
me.
a couple things with Solo. We were talking about.
What were we talking about? I don't remember.
We teased the breakout characters, and
Yes.
I'll get into that in a second. But we started with the fact that it did not do very well at the box
It did
office.
not do well. It did. It was projected to do something like
150 million.
150, and
Made
then
100.
then they lowered their
And 5.
expectations to like 114, 120, and it didn't even reach the lowered expectations.
Right.
Right, but it had the biggest opening day of the Labor Day weekend since 2014.
Right.
And
it was
still-
also Ron Howard's personal best.
Yeah, and it did $100 million.
105.
105, excuse me. Okay, so that's better. So, and it's a lot of people have bad taste in their mouth because of The Last Jedi.
Well,
The
okay,
last-
wait. That was exactly what I want to get into.
Well-
Is this Star Wars fatigue? Is this
No.
anti-Last Jedi?
No Star Wars fatigue. Listen, I don't like Disney at all. Period.
Yeah.
I don't like Disney Star Wars at all. Well, that's not true. I don't like 50% of Disney Star
Sure.
Wars at this point. I don't think they have a vision. I don't think they care about what the story they're trying to tell. Whatever you want to say about George Lucas, he cared about the story he was trying to tell. He had a specific story. He's trying to put it together. Right or wrong, executed well, executed wrongly, whatever.
Yeah.
But he had a vision, and the thing that kept Star Wars alive
Yes.
was that vision.
I agree.
This is the way things work. There's The good has to be vigilant because evil is always lurking around.
Right.
And your heroes can just as easily be your villains if you don't pay attention to them, you know? If you don't pay attention to their nurturing, if you don't watch the signs.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of things. The main point of it, which supposedly he was trying to convey in the first trilogy, but he definitely got it off in the second one, was he was always fascinated by the fact that the Romans murdered Julius Caesar because they thought he was going to take over the empire, and then they handed it to his nephew, like maybe 5-6 years later. Huh. They handed the emperor. They made him the emperor. So everything that they killed Caesar to stop, they just gave it away.
Sure.
And his point is democracies get given away.
Yes.
You know, they usually don't get toppled.
Right.
They don't get overthrown. They get handed away.
Right.
And so he depicted that with the prequels. And then the original is the fallout from it. You have to fight for it back. You want democracy, you want freedom, you have to fight, take it back because fascists are not going to let it go. Right? Though that's a vision. What the heck are they trying to do with the new one? What the heck could the vision possibly be?
Well, let me tell you right now, and it's great you say that too, because the big cameo, spoiler, which I have to ask you about because I was a little confused with my timelines, is that the guy behind, the Crimson Dawn and all this other stuff, which actually makes sense, Crimson,
yeah,
is Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Now, Darth Maul is now not a Darth anymore. He's just Maul.
Yes.
But I just read an article that Ron Howard pushed for him to be in the movie.
Right.
Which is awesome. It's like, hey, great. But apparently he says something in there that is deeply, deeply disturbing. He says, when we came on board, they didn't exactly know who the guy who was behind all this was going to be.
Right.
Lawrence and Jonathan Kasdan, who wrote the movie, they kind of wanted to be Darth Maul, but they didn't know and they weren't sure. But I pushed for it. Right. So that's like the crux of the clickbait article. Ron Howard pushed to have Darth Maul in the movie. That's fantastic. What I got out of it was Ron Howard was the second director to come on. Mm-hmm. And they didn't even know who the bad guy was.
Because they don't have a vision over there. They don't have any. They just need to hire one tenacious nerd who lives in his mom's basement, has never been on a date, and they need to tell him to put together a timeline for us, and then they need to stick to it. And then give us some themes, give us some good, bad, themes, give us some antagonists, give us some events, and then we will stick to it. Yeah. But they don't. Look, the Rian Johnson thing was a debacle. I don't give a
well, no, it absolutely it flopped in China. It absolutely flopped. It clearly divided the fandom and it deconstructed the fandom, just like Jeff Gomez, who was on our show in episode 104, described it, very articulately.
Well done, you had the episode on here.
Yeah, look at me go.
That's well done.
Here's before we even get into Last Jedi, let's go back to Darth Maul a second, because Brian Everham just chimed in and he had a comment that actually fits my question for you, right?
Right.
He says, I didn't watch it, but my friends who watched the Clone Wars cartoon series said that explains Darth Maul and how he came to be. But it can't be, because the timeline's off. This is post I got chopped in half.
Yeah, but he did come back.
In the prequels.
He did come back.
In the Clone Wars.
In the Clone Wars and in Rebels.
Okay, so in that, he's all in there. So
yes,
okay.
That is canon. The fact that he came back is canon.
All right, so it's already canon that he came back then. See,
and he actually did have, if you watch it again, he did have the mechanical legs.
Yes.
And he had the other lightsaber that he had, the other double-bladed lightsaber.
Okay, all right. So, because that was my big thing. I'm sitting there going,
this is basically,
this is really
supposedly,
cool.
if you want me to totally nerd out and use
Please
this,
do.
basically right after he's taken over Mandalore.
Yeah.
And I think they pushed him out of Mandalore. And so now he started up with the gangs, and he's building a conglomeration of gangs. This is after Savage Opress was killed because he had a fight with Palpatine. Figured out that Maul was still alive, and Palpatine came and said, "No, it's not going to work out, buddy."
Yeah.
And he killed. There were two of them. He had a brother named Savage Opress who looked a little like him.
Okay.
Right. And Palpatine came, killed Savage Opress, and I think Darth Maul got away. Now he's kind of hiding out from the Empire with these gangs.
With the mechanical legs, like was he just not dead when?
Okay, it's very it's not vaguely explained,
He does
but it's
not...
a lot of force. First of all, supposedly Zabraks, which is the race he is, are different, so they could have survived being cut in half.
Okay.
And
So it's a race thing.
Yes, it's always racial.
I understand.
It's always racism. Yeah. He was on the garbage. Wasn't he on some kind of garbage world? Yeah, I forgot how. I don't know the mechanics of it because I didn't think we were going to be discussing
If
this.
he gets cut in half,
yeah,
Palpatine's like, I'll go find myself a new one. Darth Vader gets basically burned to a crisp, no legs. He's like, I got to save this guy.
Well, okay, two things. First of all, he probably thought that Darth Maul was dead. And he could be forgiven for that because
he couldn't feel the disturbance in the Force.
When you see someone get cut in half, you pretty much end up writing them off pretty quick. It's just a thing. It's not cold.
He can't rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
See,
yeah.
No.
Was that too below the belt?
I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm gonna wait.
So our breakout character of the night is me.
I'll wait.
Go ahead.
I'm not half the man I need to be to have this conversation.
See, you can't help it. How many times? You just can't help it.
All right. Well, we made short work of that. So anyway, so he could be forgiven. Isn't it
amazing?
No.
Isn't it amazing how much better the show is when it works? No. like when the audio works,
as opposed to when it doesn't work,
and the video works.
Yeah. So we think.
If you're streaming us live on Facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire and listening to us on the podcast.
See,
at iTunes.
I'm all about the podcast, man. And I think the podcast people are wondering what the heck we're talking about all the time.
Sam keeps wondering, aren't we all about the radio?
Everybody's got an agenda. Everyone's got an agenda. But he could be forgiven for thinking the guy is dead. Yeah. And Anakin was made from midi-chlorians, so he's like the Messiah.
That's
so
true.
you're gonna want to keep him as intact as possible.
Turns out Annie's mom got a little wasted one night, but did not have sex with Darth Maul.
That's cold,
because
man.
Darth Maul is not up to the challenge.
Because he's
see what I said there? Yeah, I did that. Who are your breakout characters of Solo? Or who's the breakout character for you?
I don't know. I liked Kira. I thought she was good.
That's my breakout character. Everyone keeps talking about Lando, and I love Donald Glover. Donald Glover is my spirit animal.
He didn't really do anything.
I agree. I actually thought he got kind of shortchanged.
The only thing that he did was do Lando really well.
Yeah.
I was convinced that was Lando.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, Han Solo, I had to, all right, I'll blink, he's Han. I'll give it to you. He's Han.
I even love him just pronouncing Han's name wrong because he does it in Empire.
Yes.
And it's just like back then you're just like, well, that's Billy D. Williams, and he's like, I'm Billy D. Williams. But
but even Leia calls him Han a couple of times. In the, I mean, they never knew exactly how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
In fact, him correcting him is the first time.
Yeah.
Han Solo's ever decided.
Yeah.
No, it's Han.
Yeah.
All right. So, I didn't even mind how he got his name.
No,
a lot of people are
pissed at that.
A lot of people are pissed at that. Whatever.
Why would the Empire do that? It's like, well, why not?
He had the one sympathetic Imperial officer. That guy was pretty much rooting for him the whole time. He goes, "Hey, you want to go in? I'll put you in."
When we come back, because we got to go to commercial, we just got a great comment from Craig Caruso that throws a little fan theory.
Oh boy!
Into the mix when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
Are you feeling unhappy with your body, shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth Tripp, your host of Nourish the Soul. Join me to uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to living a healthy life. Join us every Wednesday at my new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
I had a ticket bought for me by, by an enthusiastic friend. No.
Did you know that that friend now asked me to go?
So does that mean I don't have a ticket anymore?
This is correct. I actually passed it on to Sam. So now Sam is going with your friend.
With my friend.
To the show.
Well, now I have a lot to say about this. And none of it's good.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. We also stream live on Facebook, facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. Check us out on iTunes, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, all at Secrets of the Sire. If you just do a little quick search, you get that in there.
Yeah, it ain't hard to find.
So
I mean, that's a heck of a name.
We are talking Solo. We're going to talk about a couple of the Easter eggs that they put in there. But first, I actually want to acknowledge some really nice and interesting conjecture going on the Facebook feed as we are streaming this live. Craig Caruso, in addition to saying he was hoping for better cameos like Jabba or Boba Fett, how they mentioned.
Did you just say Boba Fett?
Yeah, Boba, whatever. Boba O'Reilly. He did mention.
You non-fan.
Whatever. I'm reading here. I am a geek when it comes to Star Wars. I am not a nerd. We have previously defined nerds as someone who has intense knowledge about one topic.
How Boba Fett?
Whatever.
They're gonna get you, man.
Han.
That's up for debate. Boba Fett isn't.
No, it's not. It's not anymore. That's it. It's been decided. It's Han. Craig Caruso said some forums are saying Kira, who is both of our breakout character. I think we both really. I thought Amelia Clarke played it really well. Can I just hope my wife's not watching or listening? She's so beautiful. Isn't she not the most beautiful? Like, she's just perfect, right?
Take flowers.
Really, really great. It's great.
Yeah, she's
Kira is Rey's
very
mother.
pretty girl.
What do you think about that theory?
Yeah, whatever.
What do you mean, whatever? I think there's something to...
Sure, that'd be great.
Wouldn't it... Here's the funny part.
Listen to me.
There are probably...
Here's the thing. I've given up. After The Last Jedi, I've given up on... I've given up
there
on Rey.
There are probably executives...
I've given up on all that stuff.
At Disney Star Wars.
If they were smart...
yeah.
they would work that in so that
that's
you would
what I'm
have
saying.
to
They're literally watching our podcast. Yeah, sure they are. And they're like, wait a minute.
You'd have to because
she could be her mom.
Because then they could work in Solo as canon again, and
yes.
they can make it essential viewing. Yeah.
Yes.
If they were smart, they would do that. But there've been so many red herrings as to who Kira's who Rey's mother is, who Rey's parents are.
Yeah.
Like from it being Jyn Erso from Rogue One to it being the Iden Versio from the Battlefront game. And there's a point in the Battlefront game where they suggest it because they actually have Kylo Ren talk about their daughter.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "We got it." And it turned out no, it wasn't. So
wait, it's all forming in my head now.
Oh, what is it?
It's all forming in my head. And it's like it's a throwback to the original trilogy. This is so brilliant. Kylo Ren and Rey are half brother and sister. That's what they are. And this way, if they do make out, it could be a throwback to the original trilogy when Mark Hamill and Leia.
Well, they're half brother and sister, which means that Rey is either Han Solo's daughter,
has to be,
or Leia's daughter.
No, she can't be Leia's daughter, because Leia would remember giving birth to her. I'm saying if Kira is her mother, and Han Solo is actually the father.
They could do it.
Actually, they can't do that.
They can't because it's 36 years apart.
And that leans into Brian Everaham's question, which was, have they ever explained how old Han Solo is?
I believe...
In my understanding of the film, the Solo movie should have been at the same time as the Clone Wars. I'm quoting him, Clone Wars. I know it's a typo, but I had to say that.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Now, Brian Everham, he could maybe not be.
But if Obi-Wan is an old man by A New Hope, should Solo have been...
No, because it doesn't take place at the same time as the Clone Wars, Brian. Get your timelines correct.
This is him nerding out. I like this.
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm on the show, and I'm supposed to do. That's my job.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I encourage that because...
I could pull a Stranger Things on you and just stare at you for 10 minutes until you start throwing things at me.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm never doing that again. That's a creepy look. But it's. I think this is maybe, you can argue, maybe 5 to 10 or parse it 7 years before Rogue One. So it's not nearly, and Rogue One is just before A New Hope. So it's maybe 5-7 years before A New Hope.
Okay.
It's not nearly as long as
okay.
And I believe that Han Solo is supposed to be like 30 years old during A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
So he's either 20 maybe 22,
yeah,
or maybe 25 at the most
yeah.
in this movie, and I don't think he's that old.
What if Rey is just super old and she looks really good for her age?
That'd be great. Anything they do with Rey is fine because I won't be there. Cuz I'm done with that. I'm done with that stuff.
Let's go into a couple Easter eggs. Again, spoilers. If you've been listening all
I
show,
want a
which
chocolate
is
bunny.
Awesome.
I'm so hungry.
Here are the references that make the new Star Wars movie feel a little like the old one. The Kessel Run, fans had been had to know it was coming, but we finally found out exactly what the fabled Kessel Run is.
And they got fans complaining that we didn't need to see the Kessel Run. It's all right. Some things are okay just to imagine. They don't need to be realized in film.
Well, there's
Tell
a
that
point
guy
to
sit
that.
down.
There's a point to that because sometimes it's almost like today's society. We're videotaping everything.
Mm-hmm.
So concerts. I mean, I used to hear about, like, did you hear what happened at that concert? Like when the lead singer, got up. Like I have a bootleg of a Pearl Jam show from England in 1991, and it's like this. And the message boards was like this revered thing. Like Eddie literally, just started yelling at a fan because he was jumping on, and he was stomping on him, whatever. And you could hear him, and he's enraged, and it's this thing, and it's like, now you would just get a YouTube video of it, and you'd be like, oh yeah, okay,
there it is.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Eddie overreacted. I don't understand, and then you'd have like a long list of comments.
There's too much
commenting
content
about it.
available.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
This is why, as a sidebar, this is why a lot of people are being treated badly. A lot of people like George Lucas, George R. R. Martin, or whatever, because they are seen now merely as content providers.
Yeah.
And if they don't provide the content that we
Sure.
want to see, you're not worth my time and my energy, and you're an ass for some reason. For some reason, it comes with a caveat of negativity, as opposed to just, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
It becomes like, how dare they show this to me?
Sure.
So it's really bad, and it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep getting bad.
Here's another one that falls in this category a little bit of like,
what's that?
Did we need to?
Well, okay, but no.
Not did we need to see it?
Don't fall for my negativity.
No.
You're calling them Easter eggs.
I'm not. Well, okay.
You're shining a light on them.
I'm literally wondering if this is an Easter egg.
Okay.
Chewbacca's arm rip. Han casually mentions in the original Star Wars,
yes.
Wookiees are known to rip someone's arms out when they get upset. The space smuggler witnesses this for the first time in Solo when Chewbacca tears away both of the guards' arms.
Which was a great scene. I thought it was a great scene.
It was a great
Just
scene.
because he's like, I could have wore that uniform.
Yeah. No, it was a great scene. I just wonder if that's an Easter egg.
No, not really.
I feel like it's not.
It's
right?
just a nod. It's
Yeah.
just a nod. I thought Alden and Chewbacca were fantastic.
Yeah.
And I thought they gelled really nicely.
Yeah.
And because we don't have Peter Mayhew doing it, we have people who are this
It's
other
just
guy.
one guy. I can't pronounce his name.
But he's kind of he's a physical actor.
Yeah.
So now you got Chewie doing like little gags.
He actually looks like Dolph Lundgren.
The real guy in
Yeah,
real
oh,
life.
yeah.
But now as Chewie,
Maybe it's Dolph Lundgren.
you got him doing gags.
Yeah.
Like when he was bringing the drink to.
That was really cute.
Yeah, and
there
he
was
was like,
something
"Aw."
just fun about it. Yeah.
little things that
There was a scene when they're in this cocktail party. I'm doing this for Sam, our engineer and producer, who did not see the movie.
Didn't see it.
And this is a good scene. We're gonna ruin it for you. And Chewbacca. So they're at this party, and Han is wandering one way, and Chewbacca's wandering the other way. And Han meets up with Kira, who is Amelia Clark, and she grabs him, and she takes drinks off a waiter's, plate and gives it to him, and then Chewbacca kind of walks over, sees it, and he just kind of drinks
he
the other because he had two drinks.
But I mean, he genuinely conveyed like, oh, through that costume. So he was really great. I thought the scene where they met, even though people were saying it was unnecessary, even though I personally would have preferred they had known each other before that.
Yeah.
The scene where they met, I thought was fine. I was like, no, all right, I'm all right with it.
Yeah. But again, it goes back to my original point. It was kind of like the Cliff Notes version. It was kind of like, here's this thing, and it's
here's
where they meet.
I really wish they had done that. Han was supposed to be on Kashyyyk in Revenge of the Sith as a 10-year-old boy. There's even concept art of him running around. So he and Chewie went way back. And I think George was like, nah, they're going to yell at me anyway, so I'm not going to do it.
George was like, I need to get the detail on this droid exactly right. It's not shiny enough. Shinier.
Leave
shinier. And his goiter is arguing.
That's not a goiter. He just doesn't have a neck.
Maybe the goiter is
that is
what
not a goiter.
The prequels.
Oh boy!
We need shinier. No, we should worry about story and plot and execution.
Children,
no.
You see how he's treating George?
Shinier droids.
He's treating him like a content provider.
Yeah,
mere content provider.
Well, look, you know what?
Whereas George Lucas is probably bears a lot of responsibility for why we're sitting in these chairs right now.
I am a published writer.
Mm-hmm.
By that means, I'm a professional. By that means, I am a peer of George Lucas, and therefore able to make fun of his neck. Another thing, gangster from Tatooine.
You are suffering from multiple head injuries.
Let me ask you another one.
And I think we need to address this.
Let me ask you another one. This is another supposed Easter egg. Han shot first.
Yes.
There's a prominent scene in Solo where Han does not hesitate to pull the trigger. I really wish Woody Harrelson's character Beckett would have been, as he was dying.
There's a way you could discuss these things without actually saying the name so that you could leave something on the table for Sam.
Nah, I got nothing. This is punishment, actually, for him not seeing it. What do you call? If he was when he was dying, said to Han, always shoot first. I was waiting for him to say
no. That would have been so bad. That would have been on par with everybody complaining about Solo.
No, but it would have been
about where he got his name from.
It would have just been so meta. One good comment about Han Solo, which I thought was pretty good. There was some meta moments in it, but it was never. There really wasn't, actually. Meta usually means that they're self-reflecting about the movie that they're in or the story. Not they're breaking the fourth wall necessarily, but I always interpret meta to be like, they realize they're in a chase scene, so that
Yeah, well, it's
or
not,
they realize they're in something that
Meta's
that
not
they've
necessarily
seen.
breaking the fourth wall, but it's reference of itself,
right.
Reference outside
there
of
was
itself.
nothing in this movie that was meta, as opposed to
Not
Last
really.
Jedi, which you had talked about. Last Jedi was all meta. The
Yeah.
whole movie was meta.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I mean, the whole message of it was like everything that was happening on screen meant nothing because it was directed toward a message that we weren't even following. That was above.
That
what
wasn't
actually
even that
going
came out of
on.
nowhere because it wasn't set up by anything.
Exactly.
It doesn't have a lead through because it's not going to lead to anything in the next movie. It was just a waste. It's a very pretty waste of time.
Yeah.
But we've said so much about The Last Jedi, and we actually have a decent Star Wars movie to talk about.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching it. And I did enjoy it the second time around.
Well, you mentioned it with Rogue One.
So.
Why is Rogue One and this movie alike? We'll talk about that when we get back. Plus, we'll go spinning the racks.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
shape, or size? Ever feel out of control with food? I'm Elizabeth Tripp, your host of Nourish the Soul. Join me to uncover the root to these imbalances and discover a permanent solution to living a healthy life. Join us every Wednesday at my new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
My vomit streak goes back to the 2010 Super Bowl.
You haven't vomited in 8 years?
I have a iron stomach. My 2-year-old son takes after me as well, too. He did the power hour, too, but it was milk. Still didn't vomit.
Oh, well, I guess that's settled.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire, talking comics, movies, TV, pop culture. Tonight we're talking Solo. So much stuff happened in the commercial break. Now that we fixed the audio, and you can't hear us during the commercial breaks.
Thank God.
I talked
now
about
we can
my
talk about
unbelievable.
The audience again.
I talked about my unbelievable IP I created when I was in 5th grade, which was a combination of Boss.
Now you're going to tell them.
I am.
Now you're going to tell. Okay.
It's okay.
All right.
Right, Bosk or Bosch?
Bosk.
Bosk. The lizard-looking bounty hunter, Chewbacca, and the pig from the pig guard from Return of the Jedi. They were space tourists. The three of them.
Why them
flying
in
around?
particular?
Because those were they just happened to be the action figures that I happen to have. And I made all these little adventures, and then obviously I was drawing because I'm always drawing and things like that.
Right.
And I made little cartoon strips, and they flew around.
Do the jingo.
I will in a second. They flew around in again. You're gonna have to say this again. It's not Optimus Prime. It's who took over for Optimus Prime when he got killed.
Rodimus Prime.
Yeah, so it was like the tractor trailer. That was their spaceship. The three of them.
With the gun in it. The thing with that opens up to the side. And the gun in it.
And occasionally I would get one of the Tusken Raiders would show up in the occasionally.
As those like holdovers, like he's on layover.
Yeah,
right.
And they were called Space Tourists. That was that was their theme song. So when I was in 5th grade, that was what I did. So. Amazingly, though, you named every single bounty hunter in Empire Strikes Back off camera, which is just impressive. The bumper that everyone heard, we're going to use it by the real name, not the drop. It's a bumper. I actually did vomit. I just realized this.
What?
I had a bad stomach virus in 2015. So that bumper is a lie.
That bumper is a lie now.
It's a lie. Yeah, it's a lie.
We'll have to decommission it.
It's a 3-year vomit streak, but I have not vomited from drinking in 8 years.
All right, well,
so disclaimer.
we could argue that caveat was predetermined.
Yeah.
So that we can keep the bumper.
So I had this really great segue at the end of last segment.
What's the segue?
Well, I forgot it. So instead, I'm gonna ask you a quick question here, though, too. Is there Star Wars fatigue? And this is the last topic we'll talk about. Did this movie suffer from Star Wars fatigue?
Nothing suffers from fatigue if it's good. No,
that was somebody's argument about that, though, and I don't think that's true. I actually think it's not. It's a combination of a lot of factors.
It shouldn't have happened now. The Last Jedi was too soon. A lot of hate for it. It comes on the cusp of Black Panther and Infinity Wars and
you know who ruined it for Solo? Besides the schedule makers at Disney, Deadpool. Deadpool was supposed to be next month. It was supposed to be June 18th. That was the release date. That was when we were supposed to get Deadpool 2. And then you had Infinity War actually move up a little bit because they were smart. Actually, they realized it. They're like, wait a minute, we can't.
Yeah, we wanted to dominate that.
We want to dominate this, and they were supposed to be, I guess, like the week after. So they were supposed to be like the end of April, the very end of April, or the very beginning of May, and they're like, well, let's move it up, and they were really smart about doing that because they realized, we want this thing to last for 4 or 5 weeks as the #1 box office. Can't do that if there's now a Deadpool sitting in the middle.
Right.
Now, originally,
which will. even if it doesn't do as well as Infinity War, it will have to
There's
take some
just so
business.
much you want to go see a movie now by the time Ant-Man and Wasp comes around in July, because there's nothing else now.
No.
You know, Deadpool 2 was really stupid to do that. Whoever thought about doing that?
No, they were smart. Mm-hmm. They were smart. They screwed
failed.
over.
They went below
screwed
expectations
over.
too.
Yeah.
They fell below expectations.
Yeah, now you got Ryan Reynolds talking about he doesn't know if there's going to be a third one.
Right.
Which
now
is
they're doing an
baloney.
X-Force movie. That's what they're, that's what they're probably doing. No, they're not probably. They are doing an X-Force movie with Cable,
I
Domino,
thought we already
and
got
Deadpool.
that.
But now an official one. Have you seen that yet, Sam? Oh God!
Oh my God!
My
God!
Delaware.
What are you doing? Working?
They have no theaters in Delaware. No, I think that's actually it's a combination. I think Last Jedi was very divisive.
Yes.
I think the fact that there was just a Star Wars movie. They even said like Last Jedi literally exited theaters 2 weeks ago.
For good.
For good.
Yeah, all over worldwide.
So, yeah, I mean, at what point do I want to see another Star Wars movie? No, I want a little. If this came out in
you
December,
don't want to see another Star Wars movie on the cusp of having such a bad experience with the last one. And look, the problem with the last one, it wasn't just a bad movie, but then everybody behaved badly about
Right.
it. You know, they came in, they said, "Oh, you're sexist, you're racist, you know, you this and that." Which, you know what? Talking to some of those guys, I think that's not so true. But also, there is the possibility. I just don't like the way you told that story.
Yeah.
I just don't like some of the stuff that happens in here. I'm not one of these people who thinks, well, they need to erase that and redo it.
They can't now.
It's canon.
I know.
It's
I
canon.
know.
So that's how Luke dies. That's
Well-
how all this stuff happened, right? That's fine. But
It
don't
is-
expect me to come running to your next film.
It is until they reboot everything.
They're not-
And they reboot everything.
They're
All right,
not.
if you want to keep talking about Solo with us, go to the Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. Even if you're listening to us on the podcast, go find the video. I comment throughout the week when we launch it. Hassan also does too. We want to hear what you have to think. But for right now, we've got some really, really big Walking Dead news in our Spinning the Racks segment. Bringing you the most fantastical pop culture news out there. We call it Spinning the Racks. Walking Dead, Andrew Lincoln, who plays Rick Grimes, to exit after season 9, which is next season. Norman Reedus eyes $20 million plus new deal. Leading man Lincoln will appear in a handful of episodes of the upcoming 9th season of the AMC zombie drama. The face of The Walking Dead is leaving the franchise, and spoiler alert, he's still around in the comics as the face of Walking Dead. What are they going to do?
They're going to kill him off.
You think so? I don't think they will. I think they'll leave the possibility open that he's around. All right, let's ask a better question. Can Norman Reedus play the lead? Can he be the lead?
Yeah, everybody loves what's his name?
Yeah, but you know what? Everyone loved Joey on Friends until he became his own show, and then it was all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
but he won't be his own show. He'll still have the ensemble cast. He'll be out front.
Not. I mean, you've already lost a lot of the original cast. Maggie supposedly is not coming back either. She's trying to negotiate for a higher contract too, even though she plays a very pivotal role. She's in another pilot too, so it's not as if she's not got another option there too. I mean, there's a lot of things going on with this, and this is the funny thing about The Walking Dead versus, like, say, a Game of Thrones, and just talking about two of the most popular series. Game of Thrones has an end. You know, there's an end date in sight.
Yeah.
You know, the cusp. You know, the way TV was, right, versus the way TV is now. I think networks have to factor in there is an end date for these things, or else it just doesn't work. Comics is one thing. There's no cast to worry about. You just got to worry about you have an artist, and he turns in the pages on a timely manner. And even that, as we've known through the years, not a requisite.
No.
Right?
No. Look, this won't be a good discussion for me because I gave up on that show like 3 years ago. I don't care what happens. I don't care if Rick Grimes explodes. I don't care if he bursts into flames and takes half the cast with him. I think that show should have ended like 3 years ago.
Sure.
So, I mean, they'll most likely, because look, this is the same as the Ryan Johnson thing.
Yeah.
The only beat they know how to play is death.
Yeah.
They don't know how to play an emotional beat. They don't know how to drag things out emotionally. They already killed Coral, right? Okay? In the most pathetic way possible. They kill Glenn really badly, which is basically where I said I'm never watching another episode of this
Even though, I mean, that at least follows the pace of the comics.
That follows the pace of the comics, but because they're so gimmicky, they cheated
They dragged
Glenn's
it out.
death.
They dragged it out.
They dragged it out, and then they already cheated you, Glenn's death the previous season when everyone thought he was dead, but he was hiding underneath a dumpster.
Yeah.
So
that's very true.
So F off. All right? you clods. I'm not coming back for that. So that's fine. He's not Rick. I was wondering when people were going to just leave the show because they're tired of hitting people in the head with baseball bats.
Sure.
You know.
Well, I mean, look, that's what it comes down to. I mean, I think this is something that executives are going to have to.
He made a ton of money off of that.
But he's also now. I mean, not that he was doing a lot of big things.
He was on Strike Back before that.
Well, he was actually in one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, which is escaping me the title right now. It's the one with Hugh Grant and Liam Neeson and Andrew.
Love Actually.
That's it. It's such a great movie.
Yes, he was the one in love with Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
But that was it. That's all he got. Trivia question for folks out there, because we were debating this. Did the prequels make Ewan McGregor? Because I would say no, because it's he had Train Spotting. But that's all he had before the prequels. And then post-prequels, he had a lot.
He had Train Spotting, and he had the movie with Cameron Diaz that he did, but I forget what the movie was. And I remember that. The only reason I remember that is because someone said, "Oh, that's going to be the new Obi-Wan."
Oh, yeah.
And that's it.
So I want to squeeze this in real quick before we go. Keeping up with the Kushners, with Jared back on top. Kim Kardashian heads to the White House to talk about prison reform. We've basically given up. You don't need any qualifications to do anything in this world anymore, do you?
I'm not making a political statement.
Next week, it's our 2018 half year in review. We give our report cards. What's been the biggest? What's been the best? Who gets our awards? Next week. See you later, guys.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.